What is deception? Deception involves intentionally misleading someone to believe something that isn't true. Methods of deception: omission, leaving out key details to distort the truth; exaggeration, stretching facts to create a misleading impression; concealment, hiding motives, feelings, or actions. Why people use it: to gain trust or sympathy under false pretenses, to manipulate decisions or perceptions, to maintain power or control in a relationship. Deception can be subtle or blatant, but its goal is always the same: to shape someone's beliefs or actions through dishonesty. Like and subscribe to avoid deception. Dark persuasion. Dark persuasion refers to the use of covert, unethical, or manipulative techniques to influence someone's thoughts, decisions, or actions, often without their awareness. Key tactics: framing and reframing, twisting context to make harmful choices seem logical or beneficial. Emotional appeals. Emotional appeals, exploiting fear, guilt, or desire to override rational thinking. Authority manipulation, using false credibility or status to gain trust. Scarcity and urgency, creating pressure to act quickly without reflection. Goal: to bypass critical thinking and steer someone toward a decision that benefits the manipulator, often at the target's expense. It's persuasion with a hidden agenda, designed to feel like free choice while subtly hijacking autonomy. Like and subscribe to increase your IQ. Narcissistic abuse is a form of emotional and psychological manipulation inflicted by someone with narcissistic traits, often characterized by grandiosity, entitlement, lack of empathy, and a need for admiration. It often unfolds subtly and gradually. Key features: love bombing, overwhelming affection and attention early on to create emotional dependence. Gaslighting, making the victim doubt their own memory, perception, or sanity. Triangulation, involving third parties to create jealousy, rivalry, or confusion. Silent treatment, withholding communication as punishment or control. Projection, accusing the victim of the narcissist's own toxic behaviors. Impact on victims: chronic self-doubt and confusion, loss of self-esteem and identity, anxiety, depression, and trauma symptoms, feeling emotionally drained or walking on eggshells. Like and subscribe for more tips. Fear-based control. Fear-based control uses intimidation, threats, or anxiety to dominate someone's thoughts, emotions, or behavior. Common tactics: threats of punishment or abandonment, creating a climate of uncertainty or danger. Instilling phobias or paranoia, using fear to justify obedience or silence. Psychological impact: chronic anxiety and hypervigilance, loss of self-confidence and independence. Emotional paralysis, feeling unable to act or escape. Long-term trauma and PTSD symptoms. It's control through dread, where the target feels too scared to resist, question, or escape. Like a subscribe to not be controlled. What is emotional exploitation? Emotional exploitation is a form of manipulation where someone uses another person's emotions, like guilt, love, fear, or empathy, to serve their own interests. Common tactics: guilt tripping, making you feel bad for setting boundaries or saying no, after all I've done for you. Love bombing, showering you with affection or praise, then withdrawing it to control your behavior. Emotional blackmail, using threats like, if you leave me, I'll hurt myself, to manipulate decisions. Gaslighting, twisting facts to make you doubt your own feelings or reality. Impact on the victim: loss of self-esteem and emotional independence, difficulty trusting others or making decisions. Emotional exploitation thrives in relationships where empathy is weaponized. The exploiter often targets kind, compassionate people who are less likely to push back. Love bombing is a manipulative tactic often used in dark psychology to gain control over someone by overwhelming them with excessive affection, attention, and flattery. While it can sometimes occur unintentionally in intense relationships, in its darker form, it's a calculated strategy used by narcissists, cult leaders, or abusers to create emotional dependency. Important note: before we dive in, it's crucial to understand that love bombing is not a healthy or ethical behavior. I strongly advise against it. It can cause real emotional harm. 1. Overwhelming affection. Constant compliments, grand romantic gestures early in the relationship. 2. Creating dependency, making the target feel special and chosen. Let's talk about how to protect ourselves from such manipulative tactics. 3. Recognize patterns. Be aware of too good to be true scenarios. Reflect on the balance of affection and space. Mind reading in dark psychology is a manipulative tactic where someone claims to know what another person is thinking or feeling, often to provoke guilt, defensiveness, or compliance. How it works: the manipulator makes assumptions like, "You're probably blaming me. I know you think I'm a failure. You don't love me anymore, do you?" These statements aren't based on facts. They're designed to control the emotional tone of the conversation and make the target feel misunderstood or pressured to explain themselves. It's subtle but powerful, turning imagined thoughts into emotional leverage. Like and subscribe for more. Guilt tripping is a manipulative tactic in dark psychology where someone makes another person feel guilty to control their behavior or decisions. It's often subtle, emotionally charged, and designed to exploit a person's empathy, sense of responsibility, or fear of disappointing others. How guilt tripping works. Emotional manipulation. The manipulator uses phrases like, "After all I've done for you," or "I guess I just don't matter to you," to evoke guilt. Victim role. They position themselves as the hurt or neglected party, even if they're the one causing harm. Control through obligation. The target feels compelled to comply, apologize, or make amends, even when they've done nothing wrong. Psychological impact. Creates emotional confusion and self-doubt, undermines confidence and autonomy, builds a cycle of compliance and resentment. Like and subscribe for more tips. What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a psychological manipulation tactic where someone causes another person to question their own memory, perception, or sanity. The term comes from the 1944 film Gaslight, in which a man manipulates his wife into thinking she's going insane by subtly altering her environment and denying her observations. Why gaslighting is so effective in dark psychology. Gaslighting works because it destabilizes a person's sense of self and reality. Here's how. 1. Undermines confidence. The victim starts doubting their own thoughts and feelings. This makes them more dependent on the manipulator for truth. 2. Creates emotional confusion. The manipulator alternates between kindness and cruelty. This unpredictability keeps the victim off balance and emotionally invested. 3. Isolates the victim. Victims may withdraw from others, fearing they'll be judged or misunderstood. Triangulation is a psychological and emotional manipulation tactic often used in toxic relationships, especially by narcissists or individuals with controlling tendencies. It involves bringing a third person into a two-person dynamic to create tension, rivalry, or confusion. What is triangulation? At its core, triangulation is about controlling communication and emotions by using a third party to influence or destabilize the relationship between two others. How it works. Here's how it typically plays out. Divide and conquer. The manipulator tells one person something negative or misleading about another, then does the same in reverse. This creates mistrust and competition. Validation seeking. They may use the third person to validate their own position, making the original target feel isolated or inferior.